And welcome back, everybody. It's Creative Redundancy back again, the one known as CR, like it says on your screen. And let me say something quickly in the chat. And yes, my chat's still working. That's good. So hopefully everyone's doing well on this morning slash afternoon or wherever you are in the world. Maybe it's evening. I don't know. So hopefully everyone's doing well, and welcome to this live stream with CR here. So, while I wait for some people to join me this morning, this afternoon here on this stream, I'm gonna get some stuff ready. Because why not? And try to be a little bit more proactive here as much as I can. So yesterday was the 2nd of February. And yes, I did see sunshine yesterday. Even I saw sunshine yesterday. Actually, I'm even seeing sunshine today. I'm even seeing some sun today. Maybe I'll show some of it too. But yes, I'm definitely getting some sun today. I could show you the ground over here. See? Sunshine! Look, sunshine! Woo! Like strong solar energy right here. Enough to do like solar ignition among some other things. I got some solar lights charging, topping back off some of these batteries that I got as much as I can, especially today. Because like I look in the sky right now, it is mainly sunny, mostly sun. Yeah, mainly sunny. There's some hint of thin cloud in the sky. You know, not too much. It's mostly blue skies today. Some thin, hazy sky. Well, I shouldn't say hazy, but thin cloud in the sky. Yeah, thin sky. Yeah. Where's my head at? Maybe I should have another sip of coffee here. I made some coffee earlier. I just have it on the side here. Let's see. See? Coffee. See? In my cup. See? Coffee. Ooh. I have a sip here. Yeah, it's still warm. Man, that's good coffee. Me up too. So what have I been up to? Well, strangely enough, I've been like already like watching some of this winter gear that I have. I know it's kind of early for me to doing it, but like I have this like hat that I wore well, not specifically this month, obviously, but and even last month. I think I wore it like a few times, a handful of times, but not too many. But back in December when it was colder, and I literally mean colder, like colder as in like, what people are experiencing out east or have been experiencing out east, and I decided I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I decided to wash it that night. I was just like, with some other stuff too. I was just like, so I've actually put it away for the time being because I do not require it at the moment. I have some other things. Like I said, it's a winter hat, so like a toque can, well, it's a little bit more than a toque now. But like, I decided, I'm like, well, you know what? I think now is a good time to clean it off and stuff like that. I mean, I got some other stuff. Like this thing right here. It draw ties together. I can wear this either on the top of my head or, to cover my cheek, right? Cover my nose with if I need to. It's got one of those cord locks on it. Bungee elastic type of cordage right here to draw tie together. Something I have. So I can always dip into this if I wanted to. But no, I don't think I'll need to. Like, even for me, like I've been saying, in the last several weeks now, I can almost say several weeks now, but it's been less cold. Even the last couple of days, let's see, today's the 3rd, right? Yeah, today's the 3rd. February the 3rd. Probably in the last, like, week or so, I haven't even worn, like, gloves much. I haven't even worn gloves too often. Every so often I will, just because of what I'm doing, but it wasn't as how do I say? It's been so nice out that I haven't required them as much. You know, sometimes I'll still keep them in my pocket or whatever, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna, put them off to the side, kind of deal. Like, that's how nice it's been out west. I mean, it's been very, very nice. So that's why I've been doing it like that for a little bit. I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm gonna put some of this kind of more extreme cold type of gear away for a little bit again. I mean, some of it I haven't even had to wear this season yet. This winter 2025-2026 season yet. Because it hasn't been that cold. Or if it has, it wasn't cold that long. Right? To justify, like, bringing it out for one day, for example. Like, if I was going out long during that time or whatever, yeah, I could have dipped into it or whatever. But it's still sitting at the top of my closet right now. I haven't actually brought it down for the season yet. Because it hasn't been that cold yet. I'm talking about, like, a jacket that I would wear below minus 22 Fahrenheit, minus 30 Celsius. Something that's, like, even, well, it's considerably warmer than what I'm currently wearing right now, Just let me lay this down. Hi, Shannon, one of these type of jackets, right? A jacket similar to this, it's got the shell and stuff like that. A little bit of insulation on the inside, right? Something similar to this. I've been wearing this for a bit, for quite a bit actually now. Last, like, it seems like 8 weeks. Right? Although I've been thinking of, like, changing out back into, like, a transitional jacket. Yeah, a transitional jacket. Like, kind of for this type of weather that I'm currently getting right now. You're gonna see a lot more of it, by the way. I do have some content lined up for this month and for part of next month. So you will see it more, but yeah. And basically show you guys what I see around here at times. And especially this season, apparently. Oh, you wear thermal wear, Shannon? Yeah. Cool. Like long johns or something along the lines of that. I know maybe it's some wool, or some sort of, really awesome synthetic material. Or maybe it's awesome wool too, right? And stuff like that. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I got wool too. I got wool too. Let me just position this here. I got some wool too. Right? I've shown this before. That's wool, by the way. But yeah. Let's see here. It's 29 there, so that's like, what, about minus 34-ish Celsius in New York. I've been hearing some other things about over there. Among some other things I've been hearing, right? And among some other things I've been hearing around here, too, so and stuff. Some people still without power or running heat or running hot water. One or a combination of all or something like that, right? And people are, still bundled up, let's just say, you know. So one of the things I've been saying around here, I'm not complaining about this winter season because it's considerably, and I'm being considerably, like with CRN warmer out west right now. It's considerably warmer out west. Like there, today's Tuesday at the time of this stream / recording. The other day, I think it was Sunday morning when I was checking the temperature, right? Apparently, at the time I was checking the temperature, because I heard about the cooler, or, what they would call cold weather down in Florida, right? I was checking the temperature. Apparently, here compared to, let's say, Tampa, it was just a few degrees difference at that same time in the morning that I checked. Now, obviously, the temperature rose much faster over there, considerably, right? Like, up to that 50 Fahrenheit, 10 Celsius mark. But early in the morning, I think it was like 6:30 in the morning, maybe around 7-ish, local time for me or whatever, right? I was just checking it, like, wow, there's only like a few degrees difference. All right? A few degrees difference. Where over there, that's considered cold. Over here, at the same temperature, it's considered above seasonal. So, like, there's a major difference, right? And I've started to, like, understand what some of those people go through. And, some of those people out there, they came from a northern state or province or place, right? So, for them, they're like, yeah, I can take this. But then some other people, yeah, it might feel cold. I hear about the iguanas and stuff like that. Among some other things, people covering their plants over there and stuff like that, bringing them in and stuff like that. I know for a lot of those places now, those temperatures starting to rebound back up to those kind of above 60 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius range for daytime highs and so forth, right? And those overnight lows are above freezing for them now. 70. 70. I'll take a 20. I'll take a 21 Celsius right now. Although there is this 1 year where I saw the temperature rise during the day. I mean, this is like closer to the springtime or within the springtime range, but I remember seeing 68, 19 Celsius here, and there was still snow on the ground, barely, but like it was melting, obviously, right? Like obviously at that kind of temperature, it becomes exponentially faster compared to right now. I mean, it's very nice out right now. Like I said, like I'm seeing people, like I'm not saying people are like going out in shorts here, but it seems like that. It's that saying, right? Like I used to know someone when I was young that used to quote unquote run hot, right? I used to see them in shorts in the winter. To a certain degree, to a certain temperature, right? Like I was just like, I could never do that. I was never that. I don't run hot like that, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, Mother Nature didn't offer me like that kind of adaptability. So, hence I have to wear like wool shirt, sweats among some other things. I'm like, even right now, I'm actually wearing some wool right now, so something that I have. Been trying this out for the last several weeks for a little bit. I'm just like, this is really warm. It's got buttons on it. I kind of like it. It's kind of short on the lengthwise, and like the sleeve is long enough on my arms, but it's kind of slightly short on the lengthwise. I mean, I can still wear it, but you know, obviously, maybe I have to tuck in a shirt or something like that. So. Yeah. I could. Yeah. I've seen that before. Because it's so hot in front of it, right? And especially if you're trying to move fast and do all that stuff, right? Yeah. I can kind of relate to that. Because you're in front of a hot surface, right? That's like, you know, it's like cooking in front of stove or, you know, or whatever, right? There's that saying, but I won't say it, but, you know. So. Yep. Exactly. So. That's why I'm not complaining so much about the winter this season. Like, don't get me wrong, I know there was at least a few, and I say a few, days of minus 22 Fahrenheit, minus 30 Celsius here for me. But, relatively speaking, and I say relatively speaking, it's been pretty good. Like, there hasn't been, at least for me here, because it depends where you are in the world, right? Especially like northern latitudes, right? But where the threshold or the criteria for extreme cold is different in the world for people. Like for me here, the threshold has to be what's, I think, like minus 20 Fahrenheit, minus 29 Celsius. And usually for at least more than a day or two to, you know, kind of for the threshold to kind of issue that. I know it's different in other places. You know, some places, I was actually looking, I'm like, some places, you know, the threshold is much lower, like much lower. And then there are places, you know, 20 Fahrenheit, minus 6 Celsius is that threshold still. I mean, it's all relative. Hence, you know, I feel for some of those people out there, right? Relatively speaking, for the, like, you know, not based on temperature necessarily, but, like, in terms of, like, what you would typically see on average during this time of year, give or take. Because I know for me here, I can see considerably colder temperatures in February. Because I've experienced it, seen it, felt it, walked in it. At times too, right? So I'm definitely not complaining about this. This is nice. Nice, relatively less cold, maybe even warmer temperatures, sunshine. I mean, I'm definitely not complaining. However, having all this warmth or less cold also means that I gotta go for that freeze and thaw cycle, which you're gonna see a lot more of in the next couple of videos that I have lined up scheduled right now. And speak of which, I think I posted a community board post, but I'll say it anyways. I had to reschedule the video for this Friday. Again. Because I have something I want to show before I show more creation mode time with me, which you will see in a few weeks from now. Again, I've rescheduled that video, but you will see that too. So now, if you didn't catch my last video on my winter walk, where I where I went out for a walk at night, well, you may be able to see a sneak peek of something in there. I briefly showed it, and but due to the low lighting, you might have not noticed it. But yeah, it's sort of part of that intro that I introduced into that, right? And like I said that on that video, I was trying out something anyways. Some gear, among some other things. Not specifically like code related, so to speak, but more like this transitional period. Right? Like during that time because the way I've edited that quite down and condensed it, but like on that night it was like similar to like today. Very, 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 very similar to like today. So less cold, relatively speaking, you know, and stuff like that. And I was just trying out some stuff amongst some other things. And like I said in that video, it became more beneficial than I ever realized that it could have been at that time. So that's why I was just like, you know, yeah, it was a good walk. Let's just say the night afterwards, after that video, I was considering on going back out again the next night. Well, let's just say something came up, and you will notice in the next video that I have on this Friday's video. It's literally like this Friday's video is literally the next night after last Friday's video. That's in a couple days ago. It's Tuesday, yeah. So, yeah, as a reference. So that's why I've slid in these two videos in, because I have had some scheduled videos for a while already, as everyone is aware. Right now I've scheduled videos until April, by the way. Like, I'm actually working on content for like Q3 right now, or some of it in there. I've added some content for later in this year and stuff like that. I mean, currently right now I got like 12 a dozen videos scheduled in advance. Maybe perhaps there will be some bonus content or a bonus video. But you'll have to stay tuned for that, right? Maybe I'll add in something on Sunday or something like that. Maybe on a Saturday. Hey, maybe I'll add in something on a Wednesday. I don't know, right? You know, stay tuned on my community board, and you might see it. Yeah. It's all good, Shannon. I mean, I know he appreciates you dropping by and all that stuff. Just like I appreciate you dropping by, Shannon. And actually, you know what? You know what? Let's try it. Let's change that out. Yeah, why not? I'll pass you one of those useful items over to you, Shannon. Why not? You're here often enough, right? Not all the time. Like, I don't expect everyone to randomly always be here or whatever, right? But you're here right now, and I do appreciate you dropping by. So, and amongst my other things, your input's very nice, anyway. So, no. You guys are awesome. I'm just merely the host. I'm merely the voice of something. I was gonna say something else, but I'm like, I don't wanna. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just the voice of whatever you want to say. I'm just the voice in your ear right now, on your device right now, or over your speaker right now. But yeah, no, you guys are awesome people. But yeah, so I make sure I put some of this stuff away here. But yeah, I've been like gathering some of my additional winter stuff and putting some of this stuff away. Like even right now, I'm not even wearing let's say what you would call quote unquote let's say Long Johns or thermals right now, like, because like I actually had to like not wear them for the last little bit because it's actually been that nice though. Like, relatively speaking, right? I haven't required them lately. Like, not since like basically since let's say I don't know January 21st, give or take, right? I haven't required them for a while, right? I'm not saying I don't have them nearby, but I haven't required them, right? You know, I can always dip back in them. I have them in my hand right now. I'm just kind of putting them away. Not putting them away, but kind of reorganizing some of it, right? Some of the Zara stuff I have, like, you know, like a scarf or whatever, right? Like, I have some stuff right here that I'm just like, you know what? I will not require them at the moment, right? I have some other versions of this stuff, like, that are like, let's say, less insulative. Yeah, less insulative, less warm, right? For when, if the temperature is less cold or warmer. So, I can always dip into that. Where I don't necessarily need like that many layers on, right? I mean, honestly, it depends what I'm doing, right? If I'm doing like an outdoor activity, I could always dip back into the stuff if I wanted to, right? You know, like this one hat that I have, it looks like a trapper's type of hat, right? Like I can, but you know, I haven't. I think I've worn this like twice this season, right? I think I've yeah. I think I wore it once just because I was like too lazy to find a quick toque, so I just tossed this hat on randomly when I was outside, like showing snow or something like that. But I haven't required to use much of it at the moment. Noted. But you know, this is and some of the other stuff I haven't even really dipped back into for a little bit. You know, I haven't required wearing them at the moment, anyways. Right? I got some like what you would call I don't know indoor slippers. Indoor slippers, right? Like I've more winter colder type versions of them, right? Versus let's just say basic slippers that you just slide on, right? You know, along the lines of like Crocs, right? But these are ones I have are more there's more insulation, right? There's more fabric in them and stuff, right? They're meant for like, you know, to just keep my feet warm, for example. I mean, I remember well, yeah, last year, because technically it was December, where I was wearing some of this stuff during that time. You know, for everyone that's has and went through everything last month out east, I experienced that kind of more in December. So, like, I had this other stuff like, you know, some fabric, more insulated type of slippers. I remember wearing them. They were very, very useful. They were very, very useful during that time for me. I was able to keep my feet nice and warm, especially if I was transitioning from like inside to outside and stuff like that. All right, you know, in like a doorway or whatever, right? Where my feet are kind of cold or whatever, right? So it was nice. I've actually, the ones that I did wear, I've actually washed them now, and I haven't put them away officially. Put them away, obviously, because it's so February. But I've actually washed them too, because I haven't required to needing them at the moment. So I figured, you know what, I might as well freshen them up, right? Might as well freshen them up. I think I actually hear the birds outside. Like I said, it's sunny outside. So, like I said, so I've been trying to like stay proactive here, right? Because I saw everyone was doing laundry before that. What happened out east was showing up. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna do that too, but for different reasons. Because, you know, some of the stuff I wore, let's say, like a hat, a toque or whatever, right? So there's some sweat in there and whatever. So I just wanted to freshen them up, regardless if it was wool or synthetic, for example, right? So, yeah. That's why I've been doing it like that for last little bit. Even some of these gloves or mitts that I have, for example, right? Okay, I gotta speak of gloves and mitts. Before I show you guys, I gotta remember, I gotta find the other one that I have. That'd probably be important too, right? Huh, that would be important too. I'm just seeing this. I gotta actually find it right here. I think it's. Oh, no, I found it. Nice. I just fell behind something, but I'll show you guys. Let's bring it back into this room here, but even these guys right here. Even these guys, right? I've shown them before. Alright? Yes, 100% adventure, right? I've shown these for extending the protection on the knees, which I did, right? Even these guys, I've actually washed these two already, right? I've had a chance to wash them. Because I haven't actually needed them, right? I can dip into them, right? You know, if it was out at nighttime or whatever, right? I think I gotta remember here. Yeah, I think in the last video, in last Friday's video, right? I did have them in my pocket, right? No. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Right. I keep forgetting. I didn't actually wear them during that time because I was wearing something else today. I was trying out, but like these ones that I just showed, I've actually washed them, right? Because I wore them back in December. So, and since it's been nice out, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna wash them, refreshing them back up, so they're ready for the next time, kind of deal, right? So, yes, something I've been trying to do more and more. Remember, this is live. Anything freaking happen. I'm just like, really. Shh, you didn't hear that. that was purely CR. Yeah. You have no excuse. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep it real right now. Yeah. But anyways, some of the stuff, like I said, I'm just kind of, not necessarily repacking, but kind of putting back away for a little bit, right? So it's ready to go again. I mean, I got some herb gloves. Well, they're more mitts now. I gotta remember, actually, these ones I do have to eventually wash in time, but they're much warmer, so I haven't, washed them yet for this season, but some of the surf stuff I can easily wash. Like, even some of the surf stuff, right? The gaiters / buffs that I wear during the winter season, I've actually had several opportunities to wash them now, right? Although the gaiters or the buffs are generally, I usually hand wash them, right? Usually, most of the time I'll hand wash them, right? It doesn't take me that long. Like, literally, it's like 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes, kind of wring it out or whatever, or spinning cycle on them or whatever, right? And just kind of let them hang and dry. They don't take too long. Like if I actually like hung them in the sun, well, indoors anyways, right? Not outdoors, but inside, right? Like for example, on a day like this, hung them in the sun, yeah, they'll dry pretty quickly, you know, and stuff like that. I'll be able to refresh, and then, like I said, be able to refresh them. As I take a look here, yes, I probably need to put back away here, so I'm just laying some of this stuff out right now. yeah, I know what you meant, Shannon. Yeah. But some of this air stuff away too, a little bit. Not like permanently put them away for the season. More like kind of, you know, they're on the back burner, kind of deal, right? And checking on this kind of stuff. I mean, like I got some this air stuff right here too. You know, toques and beanies, right, and stuff like that. Then, you know what? I don't need to actually like. I mean, I could just get by with one right now, right? Actually, in the last couple of days or so, I haven't actually had to like. I could dip into a toque if I really wanted to, right? But at times I'm just like wearing the gaiters or the buffs for a little bit, right? Let's say if I have a hood on a jacket, I could just, you know, put that on if necessary. Like even the other day, right, when I was outside, I actually had to layer down, like remove some articles of clothing, because I was actually getting warm in the sun. Like I said yesterday, it was sunny. When I was outside, I was just like, I actually had to like let some heat out. I was just like I'm wearing like what I like this wool that I'm wearing right now, right? I was just like, my gosh, is it really getting that warm, right? Because as soon as I was in the sun, like you could just like, because I saw some other people and I was talking to some other people too, right? They're like, yeah, you're kind of right, CR. It's, you know, when you're in the sun, at least right now, anyways, yesterday too, like you could just feel that solar thermal energy just radiating, like literally radiating into you. It's just like you could just feel that warmth, relatively speaking, right? I mean, even today, probably it's even more sunny, or more of the sun's out right now, right? And the temperature is relatively more or less the same as yesterday. So, but yeah, I've only had to like last couple of days or whatever, you know, unless I'm going out at night or whatever, like late at night, like that other night when I was shooting last week's video, you know. Basically, I could just get by with just the gaiters or the buffs, right? Slightly modified, but yeah, I didn't have to dip into a toque, or if I did dip into, it'd be one of my thinner ones, right? Right, because I was trying to manage the warmth that I had, right? You know what I mean? Because like I said, the jacket that I just showed has a hood, right? So I could put that on if I really needed to. Anyways, right? If I was wearing something like that, or if I was wearing a different jacket, I could dip into a hood on that too. So a hood and the buff, you know, or two, right? That can get me down to like that 20 Fahrenheit range easily for what it is, right? And honestly, you know, if I was outdoors longer or whatever, then I could dip into something else. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you hearing certain things. Yeah. I'm just utilizing what Mother Nature's providing at the moment, right? All right. Mother Nature's providing some sunshine for me, some less cold, and I'll even say warmer temperatures. Like I'll actually even say that usually, yeah. So when you hear me say it like that, you know what I mean. When I'm actually saying, I'm not even saying less cold lately. I'm actually saying warmer, like warmer, like considerably more. Because, like I've said earlier, I can actually see much colder temperatures than this during this time of year for February. It's usually January and February can be colder here, right? But Mother Nature has graciously rose the jet stream out west here, considerably, like, and kind of, pushing that Arctic air, all that Arctic air that's out east right now, more north, right? Hence the jet stream's much higher out west right now. And it's dipping down low out east as it exits out to the Atlantic side, right? Hence, like, the states like Florida kind of got relatively cold that day or that morning, right? And relatively speaking, right? I mean, there's video or images out there where there's like flurries on the beach, aka SNOW, frozen white rain, right? I mean, obviously it's melted now, right? Obviously, everyone knows that wouldn't last or linger that long, especially since the temperature's rebounding back up for them already, right? It's not the same as our places at times. More inland, more northern states and stuff like that, right? I think, Shannon, you probably could agree with that too, right? Right now. I mean, I've been hearing these other stories of like certain little things lately too. I mean, there was an issue in the GTA in Toronto, apparently, like yesterday morning, causing major delays for a lot of people, right? Because, something happened to one of the rails, and it caused a major delay, right? Where people are like, wait or pay for like $100 Uber or cab or whatever, right? And stuff like that. Extra hours of delay or whatever, right? I mean, this is why lately I've been trying to like see how far I can make it on foot at times, right? Just in case, for me here, right? Some sort of travel delay, maybe, for example, depending, right? I mean, honestly, not everyone can walk or whatever, right? But this is why I've been trying it out lately. It's just like, let's see if I really had to, right? Kind of get back home, right? Regardless of what I had brought with me, right? Regardless if it's just EDC, everyday carry, or did I bring some sort of get home bag, GHB, with me of some sort, right? And stuff like that. Because I realized, that stuff's important. Like, at times, I can call for a ride, I can, and stuff like that, right? But, if I don't have to dip into that, right? If I don't have to dip into that favor right away, right? Or inconvenience someone, right? If I didn't have to, right? I mean, it's one thing if it's like this, but obviously, it's cold, snowy, or extreme winter. Maybe a little bit different, right? But that's why I've been trying it out lately, more and more. In the last few years, you've noticed that, right? What was it? Is it 2022, 2023? I think, no, it was the 2023 season, I'm pretty sure. It was in February, right? I think, it was in February, but I'm pretty sure I posted it on that same month, within like a week or two later, but where I walked like 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers, and like below 0 Fahrenheit, minus 17 Celsius, right? That took me 3 hours to walk. I mean, yeah, I was recording too, and stuff like that, so it delayed me. I wasn't actually like kind of power walking home, right? Making distance or making time, right? So, but because I was trying some other stuff out, but it was more not necessarily the gear I was trying out, right? That's just part of of it, right? It was more doing it, right? Making the time, doing the distance, seeing how long it takes, right? Seeing and another thing about trying something like that, if possible, right, is that the energy required for it, for example, right, and how tired or how tired you could be afterwards, right, for making that distance, right, for what it is. I mean, some people have made less, some people have made a lot more than that, right? But I wanted to see what I could do, and that's what I did during that time. And I had another reason for it, anyways. So yeah. You don't like the snow, that's why I want to move south. Well, hey, Shannon, remember, that snow kind of could migrate south a little from time to time. Rare, but it could happen, right? So you gotta keep that in mind, right? But then again, you'll be more prepared, or a little bit more prepared, right? Since if you're coming in from a northern part of the continent or whatever, right? The country or whatever, and you'd be like, you might have some other stuff, knowledge or whatever with you, right? Because I know some people like that live in warmer places. You know, they go into the mountains or they like to go somewhere vacation. Well, not necessarily vacation, but like a ski resort, for example. So maybe they still have those ski pants, a warmer jacket. Then most of the time, and I say most of the time in the year, they don't use it. But during that time that they do use it, yeah, it's, the best thing since sliced bread, right, for them, because it's that useful, right? Because they can dip into it, right? I mean, for a single person, ski pants and a jacket probably don't take up that much room in the closet. I mean, hey, yeah, a winter jacket, ski pants, or bibs, or whatever you want to call it, that kind of thermal outerwear for winter, right? Yeah, it does take up some space compared to, like, socks, or a t-shirt, or even a sweater, but, like, I mean, it doesn't take up that much room, right? It's like, what? Probably the same size as a pillow, right? So, if you could store a pillow, you probably could store something like that too. Oh, really? Yeah, I get that. I get that. Because I know the snow removal thing has been a very, I was gonna say hot topic, but that's probably not the right word. But it's been very noticeable. Not just here in Canada, but in the U.S. too. All right, a lot of places. All right, you're noticing that kind of thing. All right, especially with the infrastructure and stuff like that, right? Because the cold can do a lot of things to infrastructure, right? The the freeze and thaw cycle, the ice, snow, and all this other stuff, right? Let alone with the snow removal part of it. So, hence, that's why I feel for some people out there. Hence, some of the videos that are lined up for me on the channel that are scheduled right now, right? Stuff like that. So, that's a sneak peek right there, or a verbal sneak peek right there. Oh, I see. Oh wow, that's awesome, Shan. That's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't realize you were so mobile, or at least more or less like that. I'm just as the sun shifting in the sky, right? Well, as the sun hits more west here, in the sky here, I'm just rearranging some solar lights. And see another one that I have right here. I can actually hear the birds outside. Yeah, I can hear a little bit of chirping. Like I said, it's less cold, so they're probably more active right now. Because I know the birds around here, and obviously everything's living things around here, right? They need that food energy, right? Especially here in the winter, you definitely need that food energy to stay warm, right? Maintain that metabolic rate, or what's that called? Thermogenesis, right? Internal body temperature, right? Gotta maintain that. That's really important, right? I mean, a lot of these people, like, it's apparently like, some places are still without power, because isolated areas or whatever, right? Or certain areas, right? Some people, like, today's the 3rd, some people are still supposedly not expected to get power back till next week, as in, like, the 9th. Some places. I mean, do your own research, whatever. This is just what I've heard, right? But I was just like, dang, that's still a long time, right? So, like, the storm has passed, but the aftermath is still there, kind of deal, right? Still picking up the pieces, as they say, right? Hello, Verna. And my notifications. Okay. I get it. I'm getting notifications. And since I walk over to... That's why I had to put the device somewhere else. I'm just like... Because I keep hearing it, and you know, and stuff like that. So, my apologies about these random notifications you're hearing in the back. It's just the way it is. Because I'm live. I appreciate it. Oh, you're getting free interest? So that's about... What? 8 centimeters? 2.54 centimeters per inch. So... 3 times 2.54 is 2 carry 1, 7, 1, carry a 2, yeah, so 8, yeah, almost 9 centimeters, yeah, so, I mean, I'm not saying it's a lot or a little, but, I mean, it's enough that it's gonna do more than just coat the ground, right? It's gonna do a little bit more than coat the ground. And if you had to shovel that, right, more like a driveway or a parking lot or something like that, it would all add up, right? You know, it would add up, right? You know what I mean? It wouldn't be too bad if it was just on a sidewalk or a short little path or a narrow path. That's probably nothing for most people, or for some people anyways. I mean, but then again, I've been hearing these other things at times where about shovels lately, more and more, right? People breaking shovels, people without shovels, right? Like, you know, I also know that, yeah, I got a few plastic shovels, but I also have, like, some metal shovels too, right? And I realized, yeah, with plastic shovels, generally, I will use them for light snow, not ice. Those plastic shovels are not meant for hard ice, solid snowbank. A solid snowbank, alright? I'm talking about, like, after a plow goes through, right? You probably want something a little bit more than just a plastic shovel. Even aluminum isn't that awesome, right? It's probably better if you had like a steel shovel, right? You know, and stuff like that. Or full, like, it's kind of more durable, right? Can handle that impact of snow and ice. Especially the ice or the really condensed snow. I'm not gonna call it ice, but like it's condensed enough that like it holds its shape. Like, you know, after you made like a snowman or a snow person, right? And it freezes over, that kind of condensed snow, that kind of thing, right? Or if you made a snowball and let it refreeze, right? That kind of condensed snow amount, right? Because usually, like, like, I was seeing these things, right? And just like, I always forget. I'm like, some people down south are not familiar with this kind of stuff because, you know, they don't tend to see it. It's not available, quote unquote, at the local store or on the shelf frequently, right? And stuff like that. I mean, for me here is just like, even at times I get stuff for chipping specifically for hard snowbank or hard ice for ice, right? So like, it's like metal with a handle and like stuff like that. It's meant like This kind of stuff, like, a lot of people around here. I mean, a lot of people around here. I'm pretty sure everyone around here has something like that at least, right? For me here in Canada, at least around where I am, I mean, like a shovel, a brush, and like some, metal tool for chipping ice or breaking ice or hard snowbank. Yeah, it's kind of like a common thing around here, right? I expect to see that. I expect to even hear it at times. Like, at times I can actually, lately, I've been actually been able to tell where it's coming from. I'm almost like, it's like echolocation. I'm like I have a friend that doesn't live too far away at times, right? And I'm like, I swear I can hear them doing it. And it's like, I heard you doing this. I was like, huh? They're like, how'd you hear that? And I'm like, because it echoes around and I'm using that echolocation. I can just tell at times. I'm just like, I'm starting to notice it. And it's a very noticeable sound, right? Like, you could just tell it echoes because the way that the force needed required for it. It just echoes. I'm just like, yeah, I can hear someone doing it. All right. Scraping the ground or breaking ice of some sort or whatever, right? Oh, wow. Verna. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, yeah, Verna, yeah, that's one of those things too, right? Right? The exertion, right? Right? You know what I mean? So, especially, for some people out there, right? I mean, actually, unfortunately, some people even in their 20s too, right? Supposedly, from what I've been hearing, but due, due to trying to remove snow, it's not just the elderly or you know, the elders in our areas, right? And stuff like that. It's not just that. So, like, when I'm doing that kind of stuff, I know, like, yeah, but maybe this is too much to lift. And like I've said in the past, right? Lifting snow is always the last thing you want to do in terms of like manually doing it, right? Pushing it, sliding it is always tends to be better in terms of energy expending that energy, right? Because lifting snow, especially wet snow or ice, is it's one thing to do it once, even twice, right? But most of the time you're doing this snow removal, you're not just doing it once or twice, right? In terms of just one scoop or whatever, right? A few scoops. You're doing it multiple times, like 10, 20 times, right? So like the amount of effort you use for that is, compounded. Yeah, compounded together, right? It combines together. So you start exerting a lot of effort into it, right? And honestly, stuff like I said, try not to break a sweat or whatever. Like, even for me, at times I'm just like, I actually had to like take off my jacket or like unzipper it or let some air in because I was like, I'm actually starting to like exert so much effort that I may sweat or exert enough energy that causes me to like I'm getting a little bit not just like I'm getting a little bit too warm, right? I'm getting out of that quote unquote Goldilocks zone of just right, right? Not too hot, not too cold, right? Right? Where I'm kind of in that balance of for what the outdoor temperature is with what I'm generating for as in body heat and how much I'm retaining of that body heat through the clothing, through the insulation that I have in my clothes, base layer, right? Insulation and a shell, regardless if it's synthetic or natural, like wool, for example, right? So I'm like letting some air out and stuff like that. And a lot of the time I was just wearing a buff, right? And stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, at times when it's been really cold and I'm doing it, sometimes I'm like, I actually feel warm, right? I'm actually warming up because I'm like, yeah, because I'm exerting so much effort in and I'm still wearing the same layers on, right? Sometimes I'll actually have to like let some of the heat out, right? Because I actually don't want to break a sweat. I don't want to get the material wet, right? And stuff like that. So basically, just enough to like cool down a little, right? Let's say if I took off a jacket, the winter jacket, right? I still had base layers underneath. Let's say insulation, like a wool sweater, for example, right? Maybe I still had the gloves on or whatever, and the toque on, whatever, right? Just give me. I would give myself maybe a minute or two. Keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, I'm starting to cool down. Okay, let's put back on that jacket, right? Kind of maintain some sort of moisture level, maintain some sort of like, I'm gonna try to stay in this Goldilocks zone where I'm not too hot, running too hot, or getting too cold because I'm not doing anything, right? Because due to the effort or the activity that I'm doing, right? Like shoveling snow, for example, right? Or, using a chipper or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I get you. Wait, I gotta catch up to some of this chat here. Hold on, everyone. I gotta catch up. Because I was saying about a bunch of things, I didn't pay attention to the screen. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that coming from. Yeah, that's where it was. Yeah, that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen people use blowers too. At times, I mean, yeah, it can help for light stuff, the fluffy stuff or whatever, but heavy snow, freezing rain, sleet, or sheets of sleet or sheets of ice, you ain't blowing that. You can't. It's too heavy. It's too heavy for what it is. There's not enough force in that blower to doing that, right? You have to, you know, scoop it out, let's just say. Or break it to scoop it out. It's like ketchup. Yeah. Oh, wow, Shannon. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Vernon. I'll try to jump in. I'll try to jump in the morning. It's early in the morning for me, Bernard. Some of these streams are really early at times. I don't always get to them because it's like so early. Or I gotta do stuff for the day, right? At times, like some of those Saturday streams, I'm like, wow. Sorry, Bernard, I gotta shovel snow. Right? Right? I mean, well, you've heard me. Sometimes I'll drop in for like half an hour, then I gotta go be responsible again, right? Because the window of opportunity is there right now, right? So, yeah. Oh, that's what you do, Verna? Yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Verna. I'm thinking Saturday. I'm thinking Saturday, not Wednesday. I gotta remember, Saturdays in the morning, Wednesdays in the evening. Yeah. I can't believe I spaced out on that. I'm like, I should know that. Like, really? But yeah, on the Saturday and Wednesday, right? Yeah. I bet it wasn't, Shannon. I bet it wasn't fun going around in that kind of stuff. I mean, I've walked in snow, right? I mean, lately I've been reconsidering. I'm like, no word of a lie. I don't have snowshoes. Like, I've been actually considering it. No, I mean, I don't usually get the accumulations that are deep enough or long enough to justify having one, right? I mean, if I got it for free, that'd be one thing, right? But to purchase one, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I got winter boots, right? But and stuff like that. But I have walked in deeper snow with winter boots, right? So I'm familiar with the energy. Excuse me. The energy requirements to walk in deeper snow when you don't have snowshoes, right? For example. But I have been considering it more lately, among some other things to help me out, right? Not just like gloves, the toques, the winter boots, or the ski pants, that kind of thing, right? I mean, that stuff helps me, don't get me wrong.
ice skates too, right? But I'm like, I've been considering. I'm like, especially this other time back in December, I was like, man, like the effort I actually had to put in and it wasn't even that deep too, relatively speaking, right? But deep enough that it slows you down, the resistance of the snow, right? Because you're gonna shuffle through it or lift your foot out of snow. It's not as simple as just walking like in the summertime, like foot after foot, right? Because you gotta, because the resistance of the snow, or you have to lift your foot out of the snow to take the next step, right? And stuff like that. And also watch where you're going and stuff like that. No, I know it's possible to make them. Don't get me wrong, Bruno. Maybe, like I've actually tried out the kind of quote unquote from natural materials, like a down to dirty version of one. I have tried it before, and yes, even that reduced the amount of depth that I was sinking in the snow, right? But I haven't done that for a while. Like I said, because it's not that. Like, don't get me wrong, it snows here, but it's not like all the time that it's that deep, relatively speaking, right? Like last month, back in December, I saw much more snow than I've ever saw all last month. Like I saw more snow in December than all January, like literally, right? And at this moment, probably more than I'll see all this month too, right? But at that time, it was much more snow, considerably a lot more, right? Especially if you're shoveling or walking through it, right? Especially if it's just falling in, it hasn't been removed or compacted down or walked over, right? Like, it's one thing if the path's already there or someone's already walked through, but if you're quote unquote blazing the trail, right? Well, you're breaking through the snow, making the initial track through, right? And stuff like that. Where usually something that would only take me, let's say, a 5-minute walk turned into like 10, 15 minutes, right? Just because I had to took more time to go through. So, and the distance wasn't even that far, right? So, like, I can imagine it, like, that 6.2 mile, 10-kilometer walk I did wasn't in the snow much. Like, there was snow on the ground, but it was already compacted, right? It wasn't like me walking through fresh 1 foot snow or something like that. So that's why I've been thinking like that. Or at least considering it, yeah. Well, keep that in mind, Vernon, right? What you're seeing, right? As part of your blog or account of it, right? I mean, I've been hearing some other things around here for what it is, too, right? So, yeah. More and more reason to be prepared, alright? Because I bet a lot of people out east, and some other people at times, right? When you got the gear and the skill and the knowledge and the experience behind it too, right? It makes you realize, yeah, it was very nice to have, let's say, a certain piece of gear or a certain piece of knowledge or skill or experience, let's just say, right? Let's just say, for example, like winter boots or whatever, right? So you're not walking in with your like dress shoes or sneakers or whatever, right? In deeper snow, you actually have winter boots to keep you warmer, at least warmer, right? Stuff like that. So, and besides, like, the cold, the salt that they use at times, right, can wear down your shoes, anyways, right? So, like, I don't think anyone wants to go through like walking, through snow or whatever with like flip-flops or dress shoes, right? If they don't have to. And besides, if to me, like, why would you want to ruin your dress shoes, right? I mean, it's one thing if you're like drive and you're attending a wedding, let's say, or along something like that, right? But like, if you're getting out of the office or leaving the office or whatever, right? You probably want to change into like something more comfortable, a little bit warmer too, right? You know what I mean? You know, you wear, and I've seen that before too, right? Even when I was attending school or whatever, right? When I was younger, right? People sometimes just they would keep their sneakers at the school or put them in their bag, right? But they're wearing winter boots coming into the school, right? They go to their locker and they change into sneakers, right? Something a little bit more comfortable. And when they leave or have to go outside, they change back into the boots, right? Something like that. Just as a way to transition between spaces, right? Yeah. I mean, even for me at times, right? I was just, well, because like, you know, when you're trekking into a place, right? Especially with snow, right? Entrances get wet because the snow that's on people's shoes and boots, right, and stuff like that. Like I tried to stomp my feet or and stuff like that, right? Like I still have this thing that I made a long time ago for me that I have actually it's been sitting outside for a very long time, right? Where I mean maybe I'll show it if I slip outside or whatever. Maybe I'll show you guys outside, right? But like just something I made from scrap materials that kind of get the snow, excess sand, or whatever off my shoes or boots or whatever, right? I can use it against the mud too, right? Or even, if my shoes in the summer had a bunch of grass on them or whatever, right? I've used it, but just something I made with scrap stuff or scrap piece of wood, a broom, a brush end that I didn't have the handle for it, so I decided to make something out of it so I can handle some of this air stuff that I see. Yeah. Right. I've been thinking of making a version 2 of it because I'm like, it's been useful, But hey Shannon, if you do move south, right, you'll be like the winter expert, right? I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is what I did up north, right? Back, back when I lived up north or whatever, right? You know, dip into that experience, right? All right. Even if you don't have the same gear, right? You know what I mean? Because there is this one couple of things I've noticed. It's just like some people that had, okay, let's say no hot water, no electricity, no central heating or heat. That's gonna be tough, all right? That's gonna be tough. Let's just face it, right? But for some people out there, they didn't have central heating or hot water, yet they had power. For example, right? Well, yeah, it's an inconvenience, right? You can't have that hot shower, for example, or whatever, right? But what you do still have access to? Stove, for example, that you can warm up or heat up some hot water, or heat up some water, right? For example, I did, I mean, I had to do that before to help someone out. I mean, I mentioned it in the last live stream that I did, but I had to do that for someone before too. Furnace is out. The power is still there, but the furnace is out. And this is like 0 Fahrenheit, -17 Celsius, more or less. I mean, it's been a long time, so like, don't quote me on the temperature, but it was cold enough outside. I know it was cold enough outside because I remember what I was wearing, right, right, while I was outside before I went into their place. But yeah, where you can see your breath inside. So like, I've experienced that in a minor scale, indirectly, but I mean, like, yeah, So, but that's one of the first things I did, at least to help them out, right? So it's not just under blankets, for example, right? I know Ohio got some snow from some of the videos I've seen, amongst some other places, right? Ice in Tennessee, amongst some other places, right? You know, obviously things are slowly getting back to, well, less chaotic, I'll just say it, right? You know, maybe not necessarily better, but less chaotic, right? So, but yeah. Yeah, don't even get me started on some of that stuff, right? With those HOAs, among some other things, right? But yeah. I think this is why having options, and different options, or contingencies, right? To go along with that primary and alternative means might be important, right? For example, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you're able to use safely and, let's just say, legally too, right? Without actually having to, you know, go through a bunch of red tape, as they say, right? I mean, and I get it for some places, right? Apartments and stuff like that, right? Not everyone can have a barbecue, a fire pit, let alone an indoor stove, or indoor wooden stove, or fireplace, or whatever, right? So, you have the options available, the best that you can, or what you can get, right? You know, in terms of winter preparedness for me, I mean, like, yeah, I don't have it all. I have some things. I don't have it all. You know. You know, would I get by on? Could I get by? Yeah, to a certain degree, right? Would it be like comfortable? Maybe not 100%. Oh, it's great, comfortable, but you know, at least enough to get by, right? Depending on the time of year, you could say the temperature and, you know, what's going down, and, you know, the duration too. I think duration's very important too, right? Like, what I think a lot of people out there, most people can probably handle like maybe a day or two, shorter amount of time, right? It's that continuous longer duration of time, right? Because like I've said in the past, I'll say it again, the longer you've been cold, the longer it takes to warm back up, right? So, like, if you've been in that for a while, like, yeah, you know what I mean? You need some sort of, like, relief, or at least where it feels warmer, right? Whatever it is. Where you're, you know, maybe it's a microclimate that you have on the inside that, you know, you can take refuge in, or some alternative or contingency plan up in place, right? You know, could be a relative that's like, you know, whatever, how far away that has power, that has heat, right? And, you know, you just go over there, for example, not necessarily to stay there or to live there per se while it's going on, but kind of to cut the edge, for example, right? As they say. Kind of, you know what I mean? I didn't say that for now. Yeah, but yeah. Let's see, what time is it? Gotta look at the time. Not sure how much longer I'll go. I know I'll go till at least the top hour. Unless I'm expecting company, so like, if I suddenly slide out unexpectedly, well, you guys will know why, because I just said it. But yeah. I'll just see, like I said. I mean, this is why I've been like, you know, from a person that's like outside of that quote unquote winter bubble out east of cold, right? Relatively speaking, right? I've started to understand, based on like what I've experienced in the past and stuff like that, right? I was just like, man, It could be rough for some people, right? Especially if you don't have the resources, the gear, and the skill and the knowledge and experience of it, for example, right? If you never experienced it before, well, you know what? It's gonna be a shock to the system initially, right? Initially, right? Especially if you've never seen it before or felt it, let alone seen it, right? Anyone can see videos of snow or cold in a video, right? But feeling it, that is totally different, right? Feeling that Arctic air, feeling that windshield, feeling that bite of it, right? And not only that, not being able to take refuge in somewhere else for a bit to warm back up, right? Because whatever, right? The power's out, you don't have central heating, right? And stuff like that. Because, yeah, that probably sucks. Alright? So that's why lately more I'm like, yeah, I gotta start upping my game on the winter stuff a little bit more. And not only that, adapt. Maybe maybe those snowshoes might not be a bad idea lately. I'll see what I can do. Regardless if I create them or DIY or buy them or whatever, right? Because I think it might be useful. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Like the ice skates, the crampon, traction aids like that. They've definitely been very useful. They've definitely been very useful for me, right? But I think I need to start migrating, not just from winter boots or ice cleats to maybe having some snowshoes too, right? For what it is, right? I know some people here in Canada have them, right? But maybe they live more remote, right? See more snow or whatever, right? So they're blazing the trail or starting the path, right? So I've been considering it. Hey, Peace Journey. How are you doing, PJ? How you doing? How's the cat? How's the dog? Yeah, I didn't need to say it, right? Peace Journey. I'm like, this is like nice. like, I could go outside right now. You wouldn't even see my breath. I mean, because it's sunny too, but it's nice out right now. I mean, this is like, I mean, it's all relative, like I said, right? Like, this temperature right now, in the sun, right? For me, this is nice for this time of year. For some other people, they're not used to this. This could be cold. So, all relative, right? For what you typically experience throughout the whole calendar year, right? Some people are not used to this type of cold that I'm experiencing right now, relatively speaking. Well, for me, this is actually quite nice compared to our temperatures that I can see here, our conditions, our amounts of snow and ice and all that stuff I can experience there. Yeah, I kind of figured. Really? See? And how things are different, right? And I've been realizing that while I've been watching some of your guys' videos and what people have been showing, I'm like, wow, this is like how winter, relatively speaking, is. How is it considered in our places, right? For example, right? I mean, like, for me, it's just like a winter show is like, like, you gotta have one here. Like, kind of deal. But then down south, it's just like, it's a foreign concept kind of deal. Like, it's like a different language, right? I mean, it's like, even the terminology, right? Some people don't even know it's like what it is, right? This is a hat. We call it a beanie. Maybe you call it a watch cap. Or whatever, right? Stuff like that, right? It's like the difference between, like, some people call it a gator, some people call it a buff, right? And stuff like that. I was just like, so, yeah. Oh. Peace Journey. It's nice here. I'll just say that. I don't even need to say anything else. It's nice here. Like, I could go outside right now, like, Like I could still wear the winter jacket, unzippered right now, go for a walk for a couple hours, and I'd be fine. All right. If I wanted to, I can bring like light mitts or small. It's not small. Light mitts or light gloves if I wanted to, right? You know, with my zipper open. That's because it's relatively less cold and it's sunny here right now, right? Now, I'm not saying like if I was like going out in a remote area for overnight or whatever, yeah, I'd probably bring a little bit more than that. I wouldn't be that careless, right? You know what I mean? But during the warmest part of the day right now, if I went for a walk, you know, providing I stay dry and all that stuff, right? Yeah, I probably could just get by with like my zipper open or whatever, just with like the gaiters or the buffs around my head to keep my, you know, warm. And you know, my jacket has like a hood, right? So I wouldn't even need to dip into like, let's say, long johns or something like that. Because, yeah. Because I'm almost like, I don't want to overheat. If that's, you know, I want to stay in that nice Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not, you know, not too hot, not too cold, right? Just right, for what it is. Like right now, like, I know there's water, there's water coming down. Snow is melting in certain places. That's how strong the solar energy is right now. And also the ambient air temperature is relatively less cold. So like I know you can't hear it, but I can hear it. I can hear the birds through the window, and I can hear little drops of water. Like, let's see. Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, well, let's just say, don't put hot water on your trying to get the ice or frost off your windshield, right? That is a big no-no, right? The temperature difference is so great you'll crack that glass, right? The thermal shock of it, right? There's other ways of doing it. They're a little bit more safer and less destructive on your vehicle, right? Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, like, there's other ways to. There's videos out there where people are using like water or warm water to soften up ice, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've tried that before, and I'll mention this again. I think I mentioned it in the last video stream or the one before, but like I have done that, but you have to do it there's specific requirements if you're gonna do it like that. All right, like there's those videos out there or whatever, shorts or whatever, reels or whatever about flamethrowers, right? And people using that. I'm not saying it doesn't work, or the hot water or warm water on the ice doesn't work. It's not about melting it. That's right. It's actually the more pressing concern is making sure it doesn't refreeze after. Hence, if you do that, make sure it's relatively sunny out, hopefully. And if you do that, you gotta dry that surface as best as you can. You do not want standing water afterwards, right? Like, if you're just melting it and just letting it sit there, it's just gonna come back at night. You'll have to do something afterwards anyways, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I've used water before to soften up ice before I broke it, right? But I also did it when it was sunny, for example, and any of the standing water, I was brushing that, moving it to the side, thinning it out, right? So it would hopefully dry out, right? So I wouldn't have standing water or a puddle developing, right? Because you don't want to get back to square one, right? I'm going to use this to remove the ice, right? Then still have ice the next day because, it refroze because I didn't move the standing water, right? Because that's the thing, right? The standing water in winter is one of those things you need to try to avoid whenever possible, right? Because standing water, especially if the temperature falls below freezing, also later that night, it's just not, you're just gonna get black ice because you're just gonna have that that flat sheet of ice versus something uneven that has at least some traction because it's uneven versus some skating ring. It looks like a Zamboni ran over type of ice, right? That they use for hockey rings and stuff like that, skating rings and stuff like that, right? Yeah, you're trying to avoid that whenever possible, right? Like even when I was doing it, I was just like I was sweeping the excess liquid away, right, into like the snowbank or somewhere else that was dried, right, already, right, and thin out the water so there wasn't like pooling. Yeah, yeah, you could do that too. I've tried that before too. It's the tarps aren't. You could do that, but you have to see the conditions coming, or have it out there beforehand. Right? It doesn't help so much if it's already started for the last hour and then you're putting it on, kind of deal, right? May not be so beneficial. Let's just say. Yeah. I mean, there's other ways of doing. I mean, I know there's supposed to be a salt. Well, the salt demand's high right now, right? You know, so I mean, the supply itself, right, is what it is, right? So like, yeah. So, maybe having a little extra salt or wouldn't be such a bad idea, right? Or some other means of doing it, right? There's some other means, natural means of doing it too. Some of it I've tried too, and stuff like that. So yeah, even as simple as exposing quote unquote the ground, the cement underneath to sunshine, right? Because or removing that thin layer of white snow on the top, so like the ice underneath might be able to melt, right? Because snow can be an insulator, right? Especially if it's fluffy, right? And not only that, it reflects solar energy because it's also like white in color, right? It's reflectivity is high, right? So that's why like if it's like sunny out and especially right now, like I don't have to do it right now, so to speak, but like in the days that I've been doing it, like it's sunny out and the temperature's relatively less cold. I'll just say maybe even warmer. I'll try to remove the snow and try to get, like I've said in this other video, try to get back to the cement or to the base of the ground, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you have. Maybe it's a sidewalk, maybe it's a path or whatever, right? As much as possible, right? Just so you can see it. And, then oh, is there ice there or not, right? For example, right? Because one of the last things I wanted is was like black ice that I don't see. And it's like, whoops! And the next thing I know, it's just like, let's just say I don't want to cast that. You get it? Okay. I know that was bad. Hey, Teresa. How's it going? Hi. Yeah, you're doing chores with CR in it? Yeah, I kind of figured. It's all good. It's all good. Well, it's already past the top hour. I think I will be able to go to the bottom hour, but like I said, if I slide out early, well, you'll know. But I should be able to go. Well, I probably don't. I don't think I'll go more than that 2 hour mark or the bottom hour. But I appreciate you dropping by, Teresa. At least you caught the last half an hour of it while you're listening, right? She's probably like, yeah, see, I've been listening to you for the last like 20 minutes. I know what you've been talking about. Yeah. stuff like that. Like I said, I can hear the birds outside. The sun is shining. And this weather is sweet outside right now. I better not break out in a song. I ran away. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just letting some of the solar energy in, right? This natural thermal energy in right now, as much as I can. That's what I would do, anyways. For still let at least some of this solar thermal energy in, right? And get that natural warming and warm up some of the stuff I have on the inside. You know, the table, and stuff like that, the counter, right? So it can absorb some thermal energy for a little bit of time, right? And then obviously slowly release it later on, right? As much as possible. Not just that. Charge up my solar lights, for example. But basically, what I've been doing, and I've said this in the past, is like the spots, like, because I'm trying to work with Mother Nature here in terms of like everywhere, especially around my immediate areas. So like anywhere for me right now, if the sun can hit that spot, I'm trying to get it back onto the cement, or expose that more, right? Because like I said in the past, like the cement is probably gonna be your best traction, right? You know what I mean? Like I've said this to other people before, like using sand and like salt is one thing, right? I've seen people use gravel for it, the larger chunks that are not sand for traction aids, right? I do have some, like, don't get me wrong, I do have some. I don't like using it though. And you're like, well, doesn't that give a lot of traction to the ground when you're walking or whatever? I'm like, yeah, if it's icy out or whatever, some sort of freezing rain, that's one thing, right? But because the particle size is so much bigger compared to like sand and salt, right? It's annoying to shovel it. Because it's on the surface. Because every time you're always hitting a rock, right, with your shovel. It doesn't matter if it's plastic or metal, right? You're always hitting it, and just like you're gonna lift your shovel or whatever, right? That's why I don't like using it unless I really have to. It's just like the sand. The sand's not too bad, right? Because I can still get some traction, and it's not too difficult to shovel it away if I have snow on top, right? And the salt, well, I mean, it is what it is for salt or ice melt, right? Like gravel is one of those things. I try not to use it too often. I mean, I'll use it if I really have to, but I generally don't. But I mean, I have it for our reasons, but yeah. Take care, peace journey. Yeah, see, someone's. Yeah, see, peace journey's done. Absorb some solar energy right there. Right, so just like how I'm absorbing some solar energy right here. Like I'm wearing like I said. Let me turn back on the camera here. See, it's sunny right now. Oops. Yeah. Allow my wool sweater, because I'm sitting in the sun, to absorb some solar energy in. To warm it up. Not necessarily as thermal mass, because, it's not that retaining that long, right? It's not stone, it's not water, right? It doesn't have the mass, but it'll warm me up, right? It'll warm up a little bit more. As I put some other things away, as I do this other things, that I need to do to be responsible. I might go for a walk or walk outside for a little bit after the stream's over, right? Get my gator / buff out. That's probably all I need, really, for a headwear, anyways, for the day. For the day, anyways, right? Even if I don't go, regardless, right? You know, it's not like I'm going that far. It's not like, I mean, if there was wind outside, it was more cloudy out, windshield or whatever, right? Yeah, I could dip into it too if I needed to, right? But right now, the sun's shining. It's fairly calm outside, and the temperature is relatively, and I say relatively less cold. Maybe might even consider warm or warmer, right? So like, yeah, you know. But like I said, if I was going doing our activities or whatever, I might bring something else, right? For example, if necessary, right? You know, there's a difference between just, you know, let's just say if you were walking your dog or whatever, right, for 15 minutes, compared to, oh, you're going skiing in the mountains or something on a ski hill, right? Totally different, right? Where you're outside for a long period of time, yeah, you might wear a little bit more, right? Because you can always remove all-inclusive layers if you have them. You can't put them back on if you don't got them, right? So that kind of balance, right? Because right now, yes, it is considerably nicer in the sun. I might even consider warmer in the sun, right? But in the shade, it could still be cool enough, anyways, right? Relatively speaking, especially if you're not wearing that much, right? So it's something I keep in mind as much as possible. So what's the time I got right now? Okay, it's about 11 after, so probably go for another 20 minutes, give or take. Bottom of the hour, 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. That's the time frame here. And since I'm want to go outside in a little bit after the stream, I will pre-warm up my buff, my gator here. It's just sitting in the sun. Actually, now that I think about it, I should actually lay it flat so it can absorb some solar energy a little bit. I know sometimes I've done this before with like gloves and mitts where I'll pre-warm them up before I go outside, especially if it's really cold outside. Right? That way, when I initially get out there, right, my body doesn't actually have to warm up that space. My body doesn't actually have to warm up the gloves because I've already pre-warmed them up, right? That kind of thing, right? It's just to save the energy on my body trying to initially warming them up, right? You know what I mean? Like, let's just say they were on by your door, right? Where it's a little bit cooler, right? Out of the sun or whatever, right? Or sitting in your, let's say your vehicle or something like that, right? In the cold, right? Yeah. If you put them on, you don't have to warm them up with your body, right? And use the energy in your body to warm it up, right? So I'm just basically like warming it up through a passive mean, right? AKA solar energy, the thermal energy rate that I'm getting right now, because it's very, very sunny out right now. Very, very sunny. Like, not only is it like warm in the sun, it's actually strong enough for solar ignition too. I know it is. I definitely know it is. Okay. It's probably even good enough to use with a pop can. You know, let alone like some magnification lens or reflector of some sort. It's a little bit bigger, right? So. Oh, and that reminds me, I didn't even finish my coffee. I didn't even finish it. I'm like, dang it, I forgot. I got so caught up in talking in this stream that I forgot about it. I'm like, well, whatever. I won't be picky. I won't be picky. As I get some stuff ready here. Yeah. That, like I said, the other day I was starting to watch some of this winter gear that I have. The colder winter gear. The colder, more extreme in terms of temperature, right? Some of this air stuff I haven't cleaned for the season yet. For example, right? I'll show something here. as I bring it out. Although I gotta move some stuff again because it's sitting in the sun.
You know, I've shown these before too.
Sorry, it's really sunny. But yeah, so he's making an appearance once again, alright? You know, the things that I've adapted, let's just say, right? Get a little bit more fun, a little bit more out of a single pair of socks. A single long pair of socks. Because I only had one, but yeah, got a little bit more out of it. You know, I don't even need to dip into this. I could dip into this if I really wanted to, right? But I actually think it's actually, like, almost too warm for it, right? But basically right now, I'd probably just dip into, let's say, gloves, for example. I mean, I can use what I just showed if I really wanted to, right? I don't think I need to. I could dip into it or just put it in my pocket just in case, that kind of thing. If I deem it necessary for what it is. I mean, like, this, I can almost fit it into a pocket. I can easily fit it into a pocket, right? I can actually, like, you know, because my wool garment that I'm wearing actually has pockets, right? I can actually fit it in that pocket, even though the pocket's not that big, right? Be like, oh, yeah, I got them. That kind of deal, right? Just putting them back away again. But even these, I've actually washed them. Like, back in December, I was actually wearing them more frequently. Like, way more frequently. Like, I actually brought them out with me when I was away for a little bit, you know, during that holiday time, right? Like, people saw me with them, right? That kind of thing, right? I dipped into them. It was nice, right? But since then, I haven't actually had to wear them because it actually hasn't been that cold for a while, relatively speaking. Right? But that was just something I had, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna bring it back into a useful state, and yeah, it has been useful because I've already worn it back in December, right? It was very nice. Like, it was part of my layering that I had for that time, right? It was nice. It was very, very nice to have something like that. You know, I was able to layer it in and add some more insulation around my hands or whatever, right? Stuff like that. I mean, I had some other stuff too, alright? Because I was, during that time, I was planning for being outside, not, you know, being in a vehicle necessarily, or in with a heat source, let's just say. So that's how I planned it, right? Like, during that time, I was like helping people shovel and all that stuff, and they're like, "Hey, CR, yeah, aren't you cold, man? You've been out there for a minute." I'm like, "No, it's not too bad, you know. I planned this like this, right? I planned to be outside, right? I was planning to be outside, not to be in a vehicle or in a warm environment for long periods of time, right? I'm not saying I didn't, you know, go back inside a warm environment or whatever, right? I'm saying like that, but I planned to be outside at that time, right? So hence I had that stuff, right? Because people are looking at me, it's just like, aren't you cold, man? This is like several, because I've been like talking to them or whatever, been outside for several hours, right? For example, right? You know, it's like, oh, no, I'm good still. I'm still good, right? You know, I had to bring some stuff out for it, but yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah, I could dip into that too, Shannon. Like, don't get me wrong, I can dip into that kind of stuff if I deem it necessary, right? Don't get me wrong, people. Like, I have access to that kind of stuff, or I can dip into that kind of more active heat sources, right? To supplement, and I say supplement, and go with the passive heat sources that I have, as in shelter clothing, right? But I made sure that I had solid
winter gear, solid, that passive clothing options, right? The cover options, right? I made sure I had those at least, right? So any heat that I do generate or do, like hot hands, anything along the lines of that, right? Hot water heater, whatever, some thermal mass or anything along the lines of that would work that much more effectively, right? Because I have insulation, thermal insulation, and stuff like that to back that up, right? So, and stuff like that. If that makes any sense. Yeah. I mean, it depends, right? I mean, some people run colder, some people run hotter, right? Some people don't like the cold, and I get that, right? Stuff like that, so something I keep in mind. Like, even right now, I'm seeing, like, people just walk by, and, like, some of these people are, like, don't even have, they toke out, they don't even have their jacket on. Like, I just saw it too, right? I just saw that, I was just like, huh. Yeah, it must be nice outside. I haven't stepped back outside since I've started the stream, but I just like, I know it's getting warmer. I know it's getting warmer outside. Generally speaking. Especially in the sun still, The people I just saw, like, they still had jackets, but, like, they just took it off for the time being, right? They can always put it back on if they're back in the shade or start to feel cold again, cool down, right? But it's not like, like, they left home or work or school without one, right? That's probably irresponsible. They're probably asking for it. And just, if you don't have it, you can't put it on, right? That kind of thing. Let's see, what's my timer? It's 20 after, isn't it? Yeah, about 9 minutes. 10 minutes. So, yeah. I'm gonna warm up my buff here, my gator here. One of these gators will make an appearance. It will make an appearance later in the year. Again, you will see it. I already pre-recorded it, but because I actually technically recorded it in the last month. But you won't see it till next month, for obvious reasons. But you will see it, by the way. So stay tuned for that video too, by the way. I'm like some other outdoor winter related videos now I have scheduled here on the channel right now for this month and for next month. Right? Like, I was initially, like, when I was planning this winter season, right, I was actually planning to bring, like, the winter creation mode back in, like I did that year or whatever, but Mother Nature provided me some other content, so I've decided to show this outdoor content a little bit more than just the gear portion, right? All that means is that I'll have content for, like, Q4 and Q1 of 2027, right? For example, so, yeah. I appreciate Mother Nature providing me some extra content to use, right? Because, it's dropping in my lap, let's just say, right? I don't have to do much, right? Because it's not, see, the DIYs or the creation mode stuff, like, takes me more time to do than simply going out for a walk with the gear, right? While I'm, quote unquote, testing it or trying it out, right? So it actually takes me a lot longer to make it than to actually, like, test it or to try it out, right? But I actually always have to create it, or at least make a prototype before I try it out. Like, even last year, some of the stuff that you were seeing, right? Like, let's say last 2025 in January and February and to a certain degree in March, a lot of that stuff I was doing when it was colder out, right? Back in, like, the December of 2024, January of 2025, right? So, like, by the time you saw it, I've been trying it out for, like, the last, like, month, right? That kind of thing. Because I actually had to make some of it in advance, so, like, it was ready to try out when it was colder out, right? Especially some of the stuff that I, like, add it or try it out, right? I had to try it out because it was the only way for me. I mean, yeah, cold feet, yeah, Shannon, I can understand that. I can get cold feet too. Like actual cold feet. Not getting cold feet as in like the metaphor. Right? I'm not saying I'm getting cold feet now, right? There is a metaphor for that, right? It's like stage fright, right? Or whatever, right? Right. But actual cold feet, yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that to a certain degree too, Shannon. So I know, because I realized that too lately. Because I actually did try an experiment out. Unfortunately, you guys will never see the content because I decided to scrap the footage for it because I thought it was a fail. But I was trying something outside when it was like 20 Fahrenheit, right? But I also realized more and more that, yeah, my feet can get cold too. The gear is slightly different from what I have now. It's slightly different, but I might retry just to see if my current gear layout is better. But I'll have to wait for that again. Because it actually isn't. It isn't 20 Fahrenheit though, and I have to simulate the exact same conditions again. I mean, not simulate, but have the exact same gear loadout. You know, you know, um, padding underneath me and stuff like that. I was just trying something out, but I realized like when I was trying this test out, it's just like every part of my body was warm except for my feet, right? And the reason I tapped out, and I did, I mean, I was just literally right outside my place, right? So it's not like I had a safety net or whatever. I'm just like, if it's already like this 3 hours in, I don't. It's gonna be worse 6, 8 hours in, right? So I call it quits. I'm like, okay, this is enough to get data out of this, right? So yeah, feet, that kind of thing. So I've been reconsidering on some things. I might even consider like some other thing, for example, for my feet, because I know, yeah, my feet can get cold too. I feel that. I can feel that at times, right? You know, I mean, I didn't wear certain little things too. I probably actually should have worn a little bit more, but at that time, and this is before I showed any of these modifications I've been doing, right? Like last year, I showed a modification for some winter boots, simple or whatever, but it's helped me out. I mean, this season, yeah, my feet have been generally been warm, generally speaking, or I've had ways to be able to warm them back up, right? You know, or to insulate them. So I need to actually try it again. Because I think this time, if I actually tried it again, I think I'd do a lot better on it. Just because I've learned things since the last time in terms of experience and my knowledge and of winter is a little bit better, and some of the gear I have for it is a little bit more fine tuned. I wouldn't say necessarily better in terms of quality or whatever, but it's more fine tuned, right? For certain little things where I'm like, yes, let's add some more insulation underneath me to slow down the conduction loss of the heat from the ground. I mean, from my body to the ground, because that's constantly going, alright? And stuff like that. Because that's definitely one of those lessons I've got to remember at times. It's just like that conduction loss can be very strong, you know? I mean, when I was trying this, it wasn't even that windy. And relatively speaking, it wasn't relatively that cold compared to other temperatures I've experienced, right? But it's not just 20 minutes. It's not just half an hour. I'm not walking. I was sitting, laying still, right? So my metabolic rate was low because I'm not actively moving, right? Because I've started. Hold on a sec, sorry. Yep, I think that's almost that time. Seriously. But anyways, a long story short, you know, that's something I want to try again, right? To simulate that again, alright? And understand, and you know, literally to understand how people are, how it is in someone else's shoes. Metaphorically and like literally speaking, right? So let's see here. I think I'll give this 2-minute warning here because I'm almost at the 2-hour mark, and it's almost it is the bottom of the hour now. Apparently, to my call, 1 o'clock. I see. So I appreciate everyone dropping by on this live stream, right? Yeah, okay. I talked about more of what I did the last time, right? But there are some other little things I wanted to add in and stuff like that. All right. I'm sorry I did not show as much as I would like to show at times, but it is what it is. Right? But you guys did get to see, well, didn't see the outside. Trust me, there's snow outside, and it's sunny, right? You saw some of the other little things that I don't usually show too much of, right? You know? Oh, like this winter jacket that you didn't notice in the last video, but it was there because that's the same jacket I wore. Right? One of my jackets I can wear for the winter time. So everyone, do what you gotta do out there to stay prepared, proactive. The best that you can do, right? With the funds, with the resources that you do have, right? Right? Because when you have resources, there's options. When you have skill and knowledge, you can make those resources do, or that gear do, a little bit more, you know? And with that experience to back all that up, well, it may guide you in to when insert word like better direction, right? So go out there and do something awesome, and go practice that skill and knowledge the best that you can. As you know, things are changing out there at times, right? And when possible, try to help someone the best that you can with what you got, right? You know, unfortunately, you know, we are just a single person, right? We can only do so much to help him, right? But if more of us do it the best that we can when possible, well, it might help, all right? So I will catch you all next time. Thank you. Have a good one. Yeah, take care, Shannon, and I will catch you all next time. Appreciate everyone dropping by. All my mods, all my followers, I appreciate the support on the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're catching it on this replay and you're catching this right now and still watching this part, well, you're awesome. You just listened to me the last 2 hours on the replay. I'll catch you all next time. Take care, everyone.